You don't change your strategy. You don't change your setup. You don't even change your screen layout. You change one thing. You go from demo to real money, and suddenly the same trade you used to execute like a machine feels like you're defusing a bomb with your teeth. In demo, you're calm. You wait, you let the candle close, you take the pullback, you hold the target. You follow your rules like you've been doing this for 10 years. With real money, your brain starts narrating every tick like it's a courtroom. Did I just buy the top? What if it dumps right here? My summer. Why is it moving so slow? Should I just take it? And then you do something you never do in demo. You cut early, you move the stop, you hesitate, you overmanage. You turn a clean plan into a messy confession. So if you've ever said, I trade perfectly in demo, and fail with real money, I'm going to tell you the truth. It's not because your strategy stops working. It's because your nervous system gets promoted to risk manager the moment the money becomes real. And in this video, I'm going to show you exactly why that happens, what it's costing you, and the real money transition protocol that turns demo execution into live execution without needing more confidence or more discipline. But first, you need to understand the part nobody tells you. Demo isn't practice. Demo is theatre, and the audience is quiet. Real money is performance, and now the audience is throwing tomatoes. Here's the hidden difference. In demo, a loss is information. In real money, a loss is a threat. Not just to your account, to your identity, to your sense of control, to your belief that you're good at this. That's why the same red candle hits different when it's real, because your brain doesn't process it as a normal part of probability. It processes it as danger. And danger changes everything. When you feel threatened, your attention narrows. You stop seeing the whole chart. You start seeing the last 2 ticks. Your thinking gets shorter. Your time horizon collapses. Your brain goes from planning to protecting. That's why live trading makes you do weird things that feel irrational later, because the goal quietly changes. In demo, the goal is execution. In live, the goal becomes emotional relief. Relief from uncertainty, relief from being wrong, relief from watching P&L wiggle. So you take profit early, not because it's optimal, but because it's quieter. You move stops to break even. Not because your model says to, but because it removes the possibility of pain. You hesitate on entries, not because the setup isn't there, but because clicking the button creates commitment, and commitment creates risk, and risk creates threat. And that's the first big punchline. Real money activates a part of you that demo never touches. So demo can make you look disciplined, even if you're not disciplined at all, because discipline is only visible when there's something to lose. Now let me make this even more annoying. Sometimes you're not only fighting psychology, you're also fighting physics. Demo fills are clean. Demo spreads feel friendly. Demo doesn't punish you for hesitation with slippage. Demo doesn't make you pay the tax of uncertainty. Live markets do. In live trading, your execution gets exposed. Late entries cost more. Stops placed where it feels safe get tagged. Profit taking, because it's enough, gets punished when the move extends. So you feel like you're failing, when what's really happening is you've stepped into a world where consequences exist. And consequences magnify your weakest habits, not your strategy, your habits. Here's the cost of this gap, and you need to feel it. When you trade perfectly in demo but fail live, you don't just lose money, you lose trust. Because every time you break your own rule, your brain learns a lesson. My plan is optional. And once your plan is optional, your results become random. That's when you start chasing the feeling you had in demo. You start trying to get back to that smooth execution. So you push, you force trades, you increase size too early because you want it to matter again. You take 3 mediocre trades just to prove you can execute one good one. And now you're in the loop. You trade worse because it's real. Then you try harder because you traded worse. Then it gets even more real because you're emotionally invested in fixing it. And that's how a simple demo to live transition turns into a confidence collapse. Most traders lose money because they never solve this layer. Trading is difficult. This is education, not financial advice. Past patterns don't guarantee future results. And if you don't respect risk, the market eventually collects tuition. So how do you actually fix it? Not with motivational quotes, not with "be more disciplined." You fix it with a protocol that forces your live behavior to match your demo behavior. And I'm going to give you that protocol as 4 switches. 4 switches you flip in order. Because if you flip them out of order, you'll keep knowing what to do and still not doing it. Switch 1. Make the risk real, but harmless. This is where most traders sabotage themselves. They go from demo and taken, where the worst case scenario is reset account, to live, where the worst case scenario is I just lost real money and now I'm angry. That jump is too big. Not financially, neurologically. So you need a size that triggers realism without triggering panic. I'm talking about a size so small, it feels almost insulting. Because the goal of your first live phase is not to make money, it's to prove behavioral consistency. If you can execute your system for 20 trades with real fills, real spreads, real emotions, while staying inside your rules, you've just built the only confidence that matters. Evidence-based confidence. Not hype, evidence. And here's the rule. You don't increase size when you have a green day. You increase size when you have a clean sample of rule following. Because a green day can be luck. But rule following is skill. So pick a number, not 1 trade, not 3. A sample. 20 is a good start. If you break rules on trade 7, you don't punish yourself. You reduce size again and restart the count. That sounds strict. It's supposed to be. You're training the part of you that panics. Switch 2. Replace the money scoreboard with a process scoreboard. In demo, you're not emotionally attached to P&L, so you naturally focus on process. In live, P&L becomes the scoreboard, and the scoreboard becomes the boss, so you need a different boss. Here's what you track. Daily. Did you take only your setups? Did you place your stop where your plan says invalidation happens? Did you exit the way you said you would exit? Did you stop trading when your daily rule said stop? Every day you give yourself a grade, A, B, C, D. And here's the twist that changes everything. A trade day can be red. D trade day can be green. Your job is to reward A days and punish D days. Because if you reward green chaos, you train chaos. And if you can't do that, you're not trading. You're gambling with extra steps. Switch 3. Pre-commit your decisions before the trade turns emotional. In demo, you can decide calmly in the moment. In live, the moment is contaminated by threat. So you remove decisions from the moment. That means bracket orders. That means predefined exits. That means if-then rules written before the market opens. For example, if price hits my first target, I take partial and move stop to X. If price returns into the entry zone after failing to break, I scratch. If I feel the urge to move the stop farther, I must stand up and step away for 60 seconds before touching anything. Not because standing up is magic, because it interrupts automatic behaviour. It creates a gap, and inside that gap you get your brain back. This is what a lot of traders don't realise. Discipline isn't willpower. Discipline is design. You design a process that makes the right action easier than the wrong one. Switch 4. Train the emotional trigger on purpose. This is the part nobody wants to do, because it feels like going to the gym to specifically work your weakest muscle. But it's the fastest way to stop collapsing in live trading. You take your most common live mistake and you create a drill. If you cut winners early, your drill is hold to the planned exit no matter how uncomfortable it feels, at tiny size. If you hesitate on entries, your drill is execute immediately when criteria are met, at tiny size. If you revenge trade after a loss, your drill is after any stop out, you must sit out for the next 10 minutes and write 1 sentence. Was the trade valid? The goal's not to eliminate emotion. The goal is to function while emotion exists, because emotion will always exist. You're human. But you can train yourself to stop treating emotion as a command. That's what demo never taught you. Demo taught you the rules in a safe room. Live trading is the fire drill. Now let me bring in Marcus for a second. Marcus isn't a genius. He isn't lucky. He's just the guy who finally got tired of being amazing in practice and terrible on game day. He trades index futures, boring setups, repeatable edges, and for years he had the same complaint you have. Why can I do it perfectly in sim, but the second I go live, I start freelancing? His fix wasn't a new indicator. His fix was humiliation level size. He dropped his risk so low, it felt like it wasn't even worth opening the platform. Then he measured one thing: rule compliance. And he treated rule compliance like it was the product. Not profit. Product first, profit later. He did 20 trades at that size without breaking rules. Then he went up one notch, not doubled, not, let's go big now. One notch, then 20 more trades. And what he told me was the most important line in this whole topic. The first time I was profitable live, it didn't feel like winning. It felt like being normal. That's the goal. Not adrenaline, not drama. Normal. Because boring trading is stable trading. Stable trading is scalable trading. And scalable trading is the only kind that survives. So now let's paint the transformation, because you need to see it. You're in a live trade. Same setup you've taken 100 times in demo. Price ticks against you. Your body still reacts. Your brain still tries to narrate. But this time you don't negotiate with the chart. Your stop is already placed. Your exit is already defined. You've already accepted the risk when you clicked the button. And because the risk is small enough to be survivable, your nervous system doesn't hijack the trade. You watch, you let it breathe. You don't touch it to feel better. If it hits the stop, it hits the stop. And instead of spiraling into, I'm failing, you log it as a completed rep. A trade can lose and still be perfect. That sentence is the bridge between demo and live, because that sentence means you've stopped using trading as a self-esteem machine. You're not trading to prove you're right, you're trading to execute an edge across a series. And once you truly trade like that, the weirdest thing happens. Live starts to feel like demo. Not because you got numb, because you got structured. So here's your takeaway. And it's simple. If you're perfect in demo and fail live, you don't need a better strategy. You need a better transition. Make risk real but harmless. Score yourself on process. Pre-commit decisions. Train the trigger. Do that, and you stop being a practice champion. You become a performer. And if you want the next step after this, what to do when you finally get consistent live, but you still keep exiting too early or moving stops to break even, I've got a video for that too. Because the market doesn't punish ignorance the most, it punishes inconsistency, and you're closer than you think. If you train the part of you that actually shows up when it's real. Jack Schwager, Stock Market. Why, tu Brett Steenbarger, Psycholog, Trading Psychology. From Best TP Room Command V2,